And I do want to give an interesting update and just some thoughts on an interesting update when it comes to the injury front in college football. Obviously, it feels like it's been a relatively quiet injury season. There's bangs and bumps and bruises across college football. But of course, there was one major injury about 3-4 weeks ago at this point. It involved the do-it-all superstar for the Colorado Buffaloes, Travis Hunter. We all know what happened. Cheap shot, Henry Blackburn from the Colorado State Rams. Travis Hunter comes back in the game. Then he gets removed, and we get a very serious update after Travis Hunter was sent to the hospital that reportedly he had a lacerated liver. Okay, that sounds mortifying, but thankfully doctors caught it on time. He's been resting. He's been recovering. And over the last couple really weeks, there's been speculation of when could he potentially come back? Now, Coach Prime from the beginning has said, hey, the bye week is after Stanford in the middle of October. We would love to get through the bye week, and then we would probably bring him back at that point. However, because Coach Prime and his staff document everything on the self-run social media channels, well-off media run by Deion Sanders Jr., we saw the other day that Travis Hunter is officially back at practice. And so during his Tuesday media availability, Coach Prime was asked about Travis Hunter, was asked about the injury, and was asked if he was expected to play this weekend. Here is what Coach Prime had to say. He said he's been cleared and he has protection on to secure the areas, but the game is the game. In other words, the areas where the injury happened. The game is violent. It's a vicious game. It's a very physical game, but Travis is also physical. He continued, I don't want him to be a liability. I always want him to be a tremendous asset. Travis came to me on Monday morning saying, what more can I do to help us get to the point that we need to get to? I love the team aspect of Travis 100%. I hope he can play. So obviously, with that piece of news, with that update, with that conversation from Coach Prime, we officially have ourselves a conversation going into Friday night's game against Stanford. Will Travis Hunter play? And more importantly, should Travis Hunter play? Let's break it down a little bit. First of all, I will say this. A couple things stand out. One, credit to the doctors. If they say he's good to go, I'll defer to them. I don't know what the standard recovery time on a lacerated liver is. And two, this is obviously one where this is between player and coach, Coach Prime and Travis Hunter. And ultimately, there is only one person who can make the decision. It's not Travis Hunter. It's not the doctors. It is Coach Prime. And I think what he said there was very interesting. I don't just want Travis Hunter to be out there. I want him to be at 100%. I want him to be the best version of himself because obviously, I want him to stay healthy. I want him to play well. I want him to perform well. I want him to put good stuff on tape going forward. And so I think Coach Prime has a really interesting decision to make. Thank you, everybody, for your support of the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube channel. And we do have a major announcement as major news has come to the state of Kentucky. That is right. Legal sports betting now available in Kentucky. And here is the cool part. The Aaron Torres Pod YouTube channel has now partnered with DraftKings Sportsbook and the DraftKings Sportsbook app. And as a thank you to listeners of this channel, DraftKings Sportsbook has an incredible offer for all first-time customers. First-time customers, here's what you need to know. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Bet $5 on any game. You get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you use the code Torres. That's Torres, Torres. All you got to do, it's very simple. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook online. Bet $5 on any game. Get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you use the code Torres. First-time customers, take advantage of this exclusive offer. It's an incredible deal. Thank you to DraftKings. Could not be more fired up to be working with the DraftKings Sportsbook. Now, again, I'll defer to him, but it is interesting because if you watch the Amazon Prime docuseries, Coach Prime on Prime, about last season at Jackson State, we actually had a somewhat similar situation last year when Travis Hunter was a freshman again at Jackson State. If you watch the documentary series, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But going into the season opener last year, remember, Travis Hunter is one of the star freshmen in all of college football. He makes history by deciding to go to Jackson State. And then, of course, 2-3 weeks before the game, he hurts his ankle. We're not sure if he's good to go. And he is on the sideline in week one begging Coach Prime to let him go. And Coach Prime basically had to say, look, man, I love you. I know you want to go, You are a 20-year-old version of me, an 18-year-old version of me. I would have wanted to go if I was you, but I have to protect you. And you can see even in that game, the tears in Travis Hunter's face that he could not go out there with his teammates. So I'm not surprised that he's pushing it. And I'm not surprised that I think Coach Prime is really going to go back and forth, because there are a lot of factors to consider in deciding if Travis Hunter should play or if he should not this week. First of all, as Coach Prime said, it is the physicality of it, right? Like, this is a violent sport. And I know there's protection, and I know the doctors have cleared him. And so hopefully that means that that's not something that you can re-injure. Because again, we are talking about a lacerated liver here. But at the same time, Coach Prime has to, Coach Prime understands, like, this isn't, a sprained finger. This isn't a sprained, like this is a very serious injury, and this is a violent sport. So you have that factor to consider. I think the other thing to consider is where it is on the calendar. If you play him this week, listen, if he wants to play and you think he's healthy and you think he looks good, I'm not going to tell the coach that he shouldn't play him. But at the same time, think about it. Because of the bye coming up, if you sit Travis Hunter this week, it essentially means he gets 3 extra weeks of rest, right? All of this week going into the game, then all of next week after this game, and then all of the week after going into the game out of the bye. So that's 3 extra weeks of rest and recovery, and he's only been really resting himself for 3 weeks. You have now doubled the time that he can rest that injury, all while practicing, all while working out, all while regaining his wind, all of that good stuff. I think it's also worth noting, I hate to say it, I hate to be crass, I know there's no opponent that anyone takes lightly. It is Stanford, right? And I'm not saying that if it was USC, you should play him, and because it's Stanford, you shouldn't. But this is a game that, in theory, I know the player wants back in, but at the same time, it's kind of like, you can probably get through this one without him. Colorado is an 11-point favorite as I record here going into this game. And so they are heavily favored at home in Boulder to win this game. And again, other guys are emerging. Amarion Cooper at wide receiver, Cormani McLean, some of these other guys on the defense. So it's not as though you have to rush him back. And it's not as though Travis Hunter, outside of being a great teammate, which we all know that he is, it's not as though Travis Hunter has much to gain from this, right? We know how dynamic he is. We know that he is a future first-round pick, top 10 type talent. It's not as though this guy's battling to get drafted or battling to get film on tape to show NFL people. This just feels like one of those moments, and again, I'm going to defer to Coach Prime, but this just feels like one of those moments that, you know what, if you don't play, you're not risking anything, and you will be that much healthier when you come back. So I'll be fascinated to watch that Stanford-Colorado game on Friday night. Colorado wins that one. They are 5-2 going into the bye, exceeding any logical expectation coming into the year. I will trust Coach Prime. He is the expert. He knows the kid. I am not a doctor. I am not in the building with him, but I'll be blunt. I do think I would be a little surprised if we saw Travis Hunter. And if we did, I expect it would be in a very, very limited role. If you enjoyed this video, do me a quick favor, subscribe to the Aaron Torres Pod YouTube channel, little button down at the bottom of the screen, like this video, share this video, do all that good stuff. Also, full episodes of the Aaron Torres Pod every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And of course, make sure you're following on social media at Aaron_Torres on Twitter, at Aaron Torres Pod on Instagram.